Hey everybody, welcome to a special edition of whatever the hell.
Schizophrenic sports.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have like three different show things that we do on here now. Uh,
Sportsophreniacast.
we're a multimedia company.
We're a multimedia podcast.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I guess we're gonna be recapping the Jake Paul fight, or at least going over our thoughts on it leading up to it, because our stream got corrupted. so we so yeah. But yeah.
Yep.
So Tony, what were your thoughts going into the fight?
Going into the fight. Oh, I thought. Wait, like before the fight even started.
Yeah, before the fight even started.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought. I thought Jake Paul was probably gonna do a little bit better. Um,
Mhm.
but I didn't think it was gonna go the way it did. I thought he was just gonna do a little bit better and win like a comfortable decision.
Did you did you make a prediction for the end of the fight, or I mean for the how the fight was gonna end, or
Yeah, it was Jake Paul by decision.
it was Jake Paul by decision? That was your prediction?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said Jake Paul by knockout in the fourth round. I was gonna say unanimous decision
No,
at
no,
first, then I
no.
switched it to
I think you said wait. Yeah,
no,
fourth
because I
round, fourth
remember because
round. Yeah.
I was trying to be conservative because I wasn't too sure based on the last fight if Jake Paul was gonna be able to improve quickly, and plus with all the bullshit that happened with Tommy Fury. Um, which I think this is way better for Jake Paul also because he looked like shit during the fight. Um, so and I don't think it was because he was preparing for a different opponent. I think it's just maybe he just didn't progress fast enough. So, if anything, it might have been good for Jake Paul that he had to fight Tyron Woodley twice. Who might not be as dangerous as an opponent as um Tommy Fury. What do you think? Who do you think is more who do you think is more dangerous? Who do you think would be a harder fight for Jake Paul?
Coming up.
Yeah. Or who do
Um,
you think would have been the harder fight, Tommy Fury or Tyron Woodley? Which one do you
Tommy Fury.
think Tommy Fury would have been the harder one?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because Tommy Fury is not that old, and uh, that's it.
Bigger.
Just the age, and
Who
he's
is
about the same size, maybe even bigger than Jake Paul.
Jake?
Yeah. That's kind of it, though. That's all I really can say that he has an advantage of. He's just younger and bigger. That's it. That's the only advantage. Otherwise, I mean, I've watched Tommy Fury box, and he's not impressive. He's very not impressive. He's about on the same level as Jake Paul.
I mean, well, so like leading up to the fight, I was wondering how good he was gonna do because of how like shit. I mean, even how the fight ended with Tyron Woodley the first time, it was like a split decision. It was a really close split decision too. Um, I and you could see it through the whole fight that and like how fast he gassed out and how like he was always off balance and how he like looked like he and then he almost got knocked down, or it looked like he tripped. He was so off balance that it looked like he tripped, and everybody memed it as like him almost getting knocked out and being saved by the ropes.
Mm.
Um, so
Even though
so yeah,
on that knockdown, if you pull it back a little bit, you can see Tyrone Woodley stomping his foot, stepping on
really.
his foot so he can fall over. Yeah, remember I
Oh,
told you
that's
that
what
he
you were
stepped on his
saying.
foot. Yeah, he stepped
Yeah,
on
you
his foot
said
as
that.
he was tripping.
You said that, but I didn't realize that's what you were saying.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
It's an old trick. I mean, it's you want to score a knockdown.
yeah, and especially with like Tyron Woodley being like a veteran of combat sports,
Mm,
he probably knows that trick pretty well. Um,
yeah.
I don't think they have a rule against foot stomps in the UFC. Like if you were to use that trick on in the UFC, I don't think it would technically be illegal.
Hmm.
Um,
No, it's
but
definitely something his boxing coach taught him.
yeah, no. I mean, when I yeah, I've heard of people using that before.
Hmm.
Um, so uh, another thing that I wanted to point out about the beginning of the fight was Jake Paul's like kind of move to being on Showtime,
Uh huh.
in a kind of like a different point of view on the on Jake Paul's career, is that the executive for Showtime used to be an executive at the UFC, and then moved to either was released or left the UFC, and then moved to Triller Fight Club around the same time that Jake Paul was on the pay per view for that. So that the and Triller Fight Club was the one with Ben Askren. So and then after that, that same executive moved over to Showtime Boxing, which um which uh which Jake Paul also moved over to.
Right.
So and I was reading an article that was saying that he was like Jake Paul's advisor or something like that, but I think he's acting as a manager behind the scenes. So Jake Paul's career and pay-per-view appearances all mirror that guy's movement, and also he's getting these fights with these UFC. I mean, right now 2 UFC fighters,
Mm-hmm.
and he's moving to like regular boxing. So maybe there was a connection there between. Maybe that guy was also convincing the you know Askren and Tyron Woodley to fight Jake Paul, and that's the UFC connection there.
Yeah.
Which also kind of like throws a little more salt in the wound of Dana White, I guess, since one of his like former employees is is helping Jake Paul do all this.
Yeah.
Um, but that tangent aside, um, so what did you think of the first couple of rounds of the fight, Tony?
I thought it was Jake Paul looking like shit. He looked really
Yeah.
bad. He
Well,
looked like he didn't know what to do, which was
well,
funny because Tyrone Woodley didn't look any different from the first fight. It
don't
looked
think
like he
so.
was kind of doing the same stuff. You know what I mean?
Huh?
So I don't know what Jake Paul was waiting for. I think they probably told him to not gas out, which
Right.
actually did work for him in this fight
I
because we
know.
all know how it
Yeah.
ends. Yeah. So yeah, we all know how it ended. So it really worked out that they told him that.
Well, another thing. Well, that was the crazy part too. Is that like during the lead up of the fight, remember I was saying that maybe he should work on his footwork and work on his cardio. Um, Morty. For the new for this other fight that was coming up at the time, it was Tommy Fury, but
Hmm.
um I think when we found out that Tyron Woodley was going to be stepping in, I said that he needed to work on his footwork because of how off balance he was, and how gassed he was in the last one. Um, and I feel like he did that. Because, like you said, he was like saving his energy, but he was also moving a lot better too. Um, but for some reason, it just like for some reason no, I think it was the clinching probably negated all that,
Hmm.
because he was getting gassed out by wrestling with like Tyron Woodley, and then like his footwork really doesn't matter if it's like you're not getting in and out like how you're supposed to, and like staying on the outside and throwing punches, because he's like it's like his footwork was just to get him inside with Tyron, and like start the clinching and like the punching from the inside, and maybe landing some body shots. um that's why so it's funny because I feel like he did improve, but like the game plan that Tyron Woodley, or like it was a really weird game plan. It was a really weird game plan that they had, if they planned it that way. Do you think it was planned at all, or do you think it was like did it look planned to you, or
Um, it didn't. It looked like he just whipped it.
do you think he just like was going
Yeah, because he had a
off the
high.
cuff?
Because Tyron Woodley had a high guard. I don't know what the game plan would be to throw a shot like that when somebody has a high guard. You know what I mean? Especially from that
True.
distance. Especially from that distance.
I mean, leading up to the sixth round,
Hmm.
um, I mean, he was probably catching him. I mean, it looked like he was looking for openings on the body, and then sometimes, but then other times it was like him just kind of crashing, like throwing jabs that crashed into Tyron Woodley, and then they would clinch up and then like bore everybody to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, and then he was throwing the overhand rights that were like whiffing, and then Tyron Woodley would easily see them and like dodge or block it. And then then there were times when like Tyron Woodley would throw some shots, and I when I watched the when I watched like a recap and highlights, there was right again. There was
Mm-hmm.
times when like Tyron Woodley would like throw punches and then like he wouldn't follow through. Or like I remember seeing one time that he threw like a 1-2 right hook combo,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't follow through with it, and then Jake Paul was like kind of moving his head to the side, but not really. Like I felt like if Tyron Woodley had followed through all the way with the hook, it would have caught Jake. Um, but who knows if that was just him not thinking that he was gonna even hit it, and that's why he didn't follow through, or just giving more credence to people saying that it was fixed, which I don't think it was. But um, did you ever get that feeling that there was like something weird about how the fight was turning out, Tony?
Uh, no, not really. I thought it was just gonna go to I mean, I knew uh Jake Paul was gonna have to throw bigger shots later on in the fight because he was losing every round, especially in that fifth round. Um, it was like once he lost the fifth round, I was like, they need to tell him to start throwing big shots because the knockout's the only way he's gonna win.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, we later found out that he was ahead on the scorecards, which
Yeah.
we were like, what the how? Um, so that's another weird thing about it is like we thought he was losing the fight the entire time, and another and like all the headbutts and stuff that were happening too is like another thing that was like, where's the improvement? At least on the inside. I mean, like sometimes he was throwing jabs that where he had his like ear up against his bicep when he was
Mhm.
throwing jabs and like crashing into Tyron. Um, and they would start clinching again.
Mhm.
Um, then he wasn't even getting. It didn't even seem like he was getting the better of the punches from the clinches. It seemed like Tyron Woodley was doing that, and then like all the weird headbutts, and then so did you know that the cut on his head, Jake's head came from an elbow, Tony?
Oh, really? So Jake Paul threw an elbow.
No, no, Tyron threw an elbow.
Oh, of course he
He
did.
threw like he threw like I guess when Jake came in to throw a jab like and clinch Tyron Woodley, he like kind of he had his guard up, right? And
Mhm.
so when he came in, he got underneath the guard, and then Tyron dropped the elbow on him on the top of his head.
Right.
And then after that, like Jake lifted up his head again, and then they headbutted each other. So so it might have been like a twofold type of thing that caused his cut to get that big.
Right. Right.
Um, then then in I forget in which round, which the whole fight was kind of dirty. Like I don't know if like the strategy because Jake Paul was like ducking so low the entire time. Do you think he was trying to do the headbutts on purpose and leading with his head on purpose, or do you think that was like veteran strategy?
Uh, no. Well, no. I think they just told him put his head in his chest, and he just kept picking his head up.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Well, it wouldn't make any. That's even weirder because if the dude has like a high guard, he's just gonna like grab his chest. I mean, not grab his chest. He's just gonna like have his hands on top of his head. Like you think that would be bad.
Mhm.
Um, then I think at one point Jake tried to do the jab crashing in thing, and then um kind of lay his body on top of Tyron, and then Tyron. That's when Tyron like dunked him on his ass, like he did a fucking body slam to Jake. which
Mm-hmm.
everybody like popped for. Um, like the the people like going against Jake like were starting to post that or whatever. I mean, that was probably the most action that you got out of the fight because it was a clinch fest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they even like at one point made that into a highlight. Was him picking him up and like the foul
Mm-hmm.
was the only action part of the fight. Um, but and then which leads us into the we go past the fifth round and it's just like a clinch fest, and then it goes into the sixth round, and oh, that was another thing too. When Jake was leading to the head, sometimes he would kind of like headbutt Tyron's like stomach, or like
Mm-hmm.
kind of bump Tyron with his shoulder. And at one point, I saw Tyron put his hand down um on Jake's shoulder and kind of push himself away from it.
Right.
Right. Um, so that's another thing leading into the sixth round that I thought was kind of important to think about. Um, but going into the sixth, the it's a clinch fest up until like what, like a minute. I I when I rewatched it again, it was like really late into the round
Mm-hmm.
when like they're about to exchange. Jake like kind of jumps in, ducks low. Aaron puts his hand down on the opposite side because Jake like um slips to the left, and then Tyron puts his left hand down, and then they back up from each other, and then they jump in again, and that's when Jake throws the overhand or like kind of or the right hook that caught Tyron and knocked him on his knocked him on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Um and then right before he threw that on the second jump in, after Tyron tried to defend the opposite side, Tyron put his other hand down, and that's what left him open for the big looping hook. So a lot of people are saying that that looks staged. Like, why would he make such a weird error, especially when he's doing the circular motion to defend it, right, Kenny?
Right.
Um, but you can see that he's kind of like getting his. If you rewatch it in slow motion, which by the way, the whole thing like happens like super fast. So if you watch it in real time, the whole exchange happens within like not even like 5 seconds. Um, but you know, split decisions, like split second decisions. Sometimes it's like a game of rock paper scissors. Is he gonna throw this or is he gonna throw this? So make a decision. You have like one of three things, and hopefully, if you pick wrong, it's not gonna be that big of a deal, or it's not gonna cause that much damage. But in this case, Tyron chose the wrong thing and got cracked and knocked out.
Yeah.
Um, do you think that was like you think it was like a Hail Mary punch that he just threw and he was just like, what the fuck, right afterwards?
Yeah, I think so. No, I think his coach told him to start throwing big shots, maybe to threaten him a little bit more. And because even if he caught him on the gloves with that shot or whatever, it probably would have scared him a little bit, and he would have backed up a little bit. Then Jake Paul could start, moving in on him, because they probably wanted to get Tyrone backing up. You know what I mean? Because that's where
Right.
they're kind of moving Jake Paul in the direction of being like a pressure fighter. You know what I mean? Because he's not going to be slick. He's never going to be slick. So
Right.
since he's bigger and everything, he just started putting the pressure on him. So they're just gonna tell him to hit him with something big, on the arms or wherever you can hit him and hurt him, to move him back, and then start putting pressure on him. Because I think it was what, sixth round, and he had all his energy from not doing shit.
You're right. And all the
So
wrestling
yeah,
shit.
it was time to start throwing some big shots, and I think that's what he was thinking of doing, and it just worked out for him because he just, Tyron. I don't think he expected that shit to be so freaking fast, because that's really what it was. The punch was so fast. I mean, who the hell would have saw it coming? You know,
Nobody saw it coming. Like all
nobody
the
saw it
other
coming.
fucking like it wasn't just us when we were watching it like that. We're freaking out. Everybody had the same reaction
Mm-hmm.
of like, God damn, this shit is boring. Oh God, I don't know if Jake Paul's doing how Jake Paul's doing. I think he's gonna lose this one. And then out of nowhere, that punch just like, you know, punch just rips fucking Tyron's like asshole open.
Yeah.
um, Also, Tony, I'm sharing my screen, so if you want to see the elbow that cut him open.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'll look at it, but also I think a lot of people don't really know a lot about the strategies that go into what people do when they're in the ring. You know what I mean? So um there's a you want to try to set those up. Oh, that was an accidental elbow though. That didn't look like it was on purpose.
Think so?
Yeah,
Like,
he
here,
looked
take a
like
look
he
at it
was
again.
blocking. Yeah, he looks like he was blocking blocking high because he thought there was gonna be a big hook coming towards him, and Jake Paul kind of just ran into it. Yeah, see, look, like it was a high block. It was a high block. You know, it was a Muay Thai style block because you don't really block like that in boxing. See,
Yeah,
he did it on the
he
other
does the
side. Yeah,
yeah.
because
Which is also
yeah,
like kind of strange too, because you think like, um, I feel like a more experienced boxer, Tyron Woodley's position would probably have just moved away from that, or maybe like, um,
yeah.
slipped.
Tyron Woodley had his own inexperience too because he's not used to boxing and stuff. You know, just boxing. Usually he would threaten takedowns or just take people down. Honestly, I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's not a oh he beat just a wrestler or whatever. Tyron Woodley's like what 19-7 knockouts and has like some of the biggest knockouts in UFC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knocked
KO Josh Koscheck with one
yeah
punch.
yeah he KO'd Josh Koscheck with one punch. He KO'd a lot of people. Then he started like playing it really safe, which is why people got annoyed with him. But he could knock people out, and he has, and he knocked people down before. I mean, he knocked out Robbie Lawler to win the title. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, and Robbie Lawler is an excellent boxer. Robbie Lawler can go to boxing if he wants to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
especially
he won't be a high level guy, but he could definitely be a journeyman in boxing if he wanted to. Robbie Lawler. So
yeah,
Tyron Woodley
maybe
knocked
like
him out.
I'd say like a couple steps down from Anderson Silva, but is probably Robbie Lawler, but definitely in the same around the same category. Um, Now another thing that's like a lot of people, because a lot of people are saying that this is fixed, um, which I don't really think so, because like why would that's the thing too, is that like why would they fix it? Like there would be so many people that would need to keep that under wraps that you think it would leak, right?
Yeah.
Um, like the funny thing too is like leading up to the fight. Okay, so like one thing that happens, like if we go back to the knockout, Tony, I'm showing you a clip right now.
Mm-hmm.
You see right before Jake Paul initiates the steps in to initiate the knockout.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at his right hand,
Mm-hmm.
his right hand, the one that you can see the logo of his glove like completely visible.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of like twists it a little bit. Now keep your attention on that.
Mm-hmm.
Twisted it. You saw, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people are saying that that was the signal for Tyron Woodley to get himself knocked out. All right, now, and I'll play it, and then the second thing happens, and then he gets knocked out. The second entry into the into like exchanging.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. Like, I don't. Why would he agree to? Why would Tyron Woodley agree to get knocked out like that? Like, and land on his face. Um, yeah, I don't think it would be be good. And then like and then people were also saying about the no knockout clause, right? And so what Tyron Woodley was, they asked Tyron Woodley about a no knockout clause,
Mm-hmm.
and then Tyron Woodley was like, that comes from Dylan Dennis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we suddenly like taking what Dylan Dennis has to say?
Who's Dylan
Uh,
Dennis?
Dylan Dennis, Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu coach.
Okay.
You know who he is, right? He's a little wiener that like he
No.
starts he
Was he the touch butt?
no, he wasn't. No, that was Ido Portal. That was like his strength and conditioning coach. No, Dylan Dennis is like this little wiener that like he was like I don't know if he's like a jiu-jitsu champion or what. Um but he's famous for being Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu coach, which is funny because Conor McGregor always gets choked out.
Mm-hmm.
It and he himself got into a fight. Dylan Dennis got into a fight at a bar, and and a bouncer like grabbed him and choked him out. Like just a random boxer a random bouncer
Mm-hmm.
that like didn't have any training whatsoever. Like just like grabbed Dylan Dennis because he was drunk and then choked him out. So Dylan Dennis has a reputation of starting shit with people on Twitter and then never following through with it. Like he's only had like one MMA fight like a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm. Was that the guy
And
who Khabib was trying to stomp his head?
yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's him.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Um, yeah, he was the dude who was talking crap talking crap from the crowd, and then like Khabib like flew at him. Yeah, right here. Yeah, he's only had like one, but that's where the rumor that comes from was the no knockout clause. Um, from Dylan Dennis. So Tyron Woodley was all like, "Why is anybody listening to him? Like he's an idiot. Like he doesn't even like he calls people out on Twitter and then never fights them."
Mm-hmm.
Here's a video of him getting choked out by the bouncer. Um, and what's funny too is he actually taps out, I think. Um,
Uh-huh. We'll continue.
yeah. So that's another thing too. It's like that source is like super unreliable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, source is like super unreliable. Like why?
Get your flat ass out of there. Isn't there anything? Is there nothing worse than a bitch with like no ass with the tightest jeans
Where
in the world, so you could just see the back of their legs?
yeah,
Like their
I
legs
think
just
you're-
go into their back. They look like Spurto. Not Spurto. They look like Gondola. You know the little bear that's like just a fucking U shape.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's anything worse.
Yeah. Anyways, what were you
For
saying?
anybody listening, we're looking at Dylan Dennis getting choked out by the bouncer.
Yeah.
So if you look at this area right here, you can see him tapping out.
God damn it. And then here's this guy trying to get inside. He knows shit's being recorded. He's just like stepping into the video.
yeah.
Fucking idiot.
Um.
These retards they want to be in the video.
Yeah. What? They're like ponytail bros.
Yeah.
Is
Man,
that
those
like-
guys are gay.
Is that guy also the is that the dude's dad? Is the other dude in the blue
His son?
thing yeah, that's his son. He's all like, "Don't talk to
Ew.
me or my son ever again."
Ew.
What?
They got matching ponytails?
Yeah, probably.
They
Yeah.
they got matching Prince Albert
bun?
fucking Prince Albert piercings or whatever. All right, go ahead with what you were saying.
I completely forgot what we were talking about. So,
That's
no,
good. I wanted to inject a little comedy in here. It's getting too serious.
what is it called? This is serious business. Yeah, so there's Dylan Dennis being like taken out by the cops, but yeah, fucking yeah, the
Ooh, who was that?
that's where this is coming from. Is like is from Dylan Dennis, this guy who's getting arrested on the floor like in a drunken stupor. Dude calls out everybody and then never follows through with his MMA fights.
Mhm.
So out by a chocolatier. That's it. See this video right
Oh,
here.
he was a chocolate. He wasn't even a bouncer. He was a chocolatier.
He came from the back. He's like, God damn it. Your drunkenness is stopping my chocolate making. Um, put the
I don't know what a
guard.
chocolatier is. That must be some English stuff. Okay, so then what was
Yeah, it
going
makes
on?
chocolates.
Something about Jake Paul, um, all a certain race is on suicide watch because a white guy beat a black dude. Um,
I mean, I wasn't. I wasn't really. What is it called? I mean, yes, yeah, 100%. But no. Okay, so like people are saying it's fixed, but like there's no evidence for that, at least in the time being. Because then like Ben Askren also like he needs to put out a no knockout clause for Ben Askren.
mm-hmm.
Was there no knockout clause for? Was there no knockout clause for Nate Robinson? Is there no knockout clause for Deji?
Mm-hmm.
How come they haven't come out and like talked about the contract things? Um, it's like I guess it's because like on the Triller event he was on the undercard for um Mike Tyson versus I God I forgot his name. Sorry, what's his name?
Roy Jones Jr.
Roy Jones Jr. and they had a no knockout
Oh, which
clause.
is funny because I just put that in the little simulation thing, and
Oh really?
yeah, Mike
Yeah.
Tyson spectacular knockout in the fifth.
Really by to Roy Jones?
Yeah.
I think they only went 4 rounds, so that's what would have happened if they had what is it called? Fifth round.
Well, that probably would have happened if they were both young.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, what is it like? Mike Tyson was in the heavyweight division though. I mean, they're the same height, but
Well,
like
yeah. Well,
middleweight
Mike,
Roy Jones
yeah,
versus.
but Roy Jones also went up to heavyweight. I think he was in, wasn't his glory years at light heavyweight?
Uh, I
That was like his best
don't
fights were at light heavyweight, I believe.
heavyweight. I thought
Yeah.
he had only fought one guy at light heavyweight. Um, and then he like won a title from him. Didn't he fight that like Hispanic dude, or like
Yeah,
came
John
like dressed as
Ruiz.
yeah, like dressed as a pimp
Yeah,
to the.
basically. Um,
I think it was mostly middleweight, wasn't it, or like heavy middleweight?
uh,
I don't know.
he won titles in super heavyweight. I mean, super middleweight, but he fought in light heavyweight. That was his big. Those were his big ones.
Okay then. Well, he's just as tall as Tyson Fury. I mean, excuse me, fucking um Tyson chicken strips. He was just as heavy as them.
Hmm.
8 ounces a serving. But so listen. Oh yeah, I what is it called? Yeah, I don't think it was fixed. Think it was just like he just probably got really lucky. Uh, where do you what do you think he should do now? Do you think he should like fight another boxing guy or try to fight Tommy Fury again or
Try to fight Tommy Fury. Just go for Tyson Fury. Just go for uh
basically?
Tommy Fury. There's nowhere else you can go.
True, at least for the time being, right? Like that's his into actual boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's probably gonna be like an easy win, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I
well,
don't know
maybe not
about
an easy
that.
win,
No,
but
I don't know about that. It's gonna be tough
most
to get him
likely
out of
win.
there, but we'll see.
He's a big motherfucker, so
Yeah,
at
exactly.
least for this division. Yeah, and um, watching this fight, do you think he's got a chance to like go up in um, like fight an actual like champion at some point?
No,
Like if you really?
no, fighting a champion, you have to be at least like. I mean, there are exceptions like Lomachenko, but he had like 500 like amateur fights. Lomachenko did. So
Oh,
him winning the championship in like 4 fights, or 2 or 3 fights, and then winning a championship is like really rare. But he had like 500 amateur fights, so it kind of negates the fact or whatever. Jake Paul has no amateur fights whatsoever. He just went straight into it, and he's only in 4. Uh, he's only had 4 fights. Um, there's no. I mean, if you just straight up start boxing, you got to be at least like almost 20 fights in to get the championship. I mean, unless you fight some
Oh.
can, but there's no cans with championship right now. I mean, there's no cans that he can beat with championships right now. It's tough. A lot of the dudes, especially in what does he fight at? He fights at light heavyweight or cruiserweight.
I think he's at middleweight.
He's at middleweight. What did he fight
180
Tyron
pounds.
Woodley at?
I think it was 180 pounds.
180. That's light heavyweight.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah. Light heavyweight starts at 175, I believe.
Um. Of course, they only show the of course, they only show the height and the age. I think he's in the same division as Charlo and same weight division as the Charlo brothers. Let's see. I mean, as the more heavy Charlo, like the one who's supposed to be the better one.
Mm-hmm. Jake Paul. Oh wait. He is 24.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is light heavy because it's they fought at Jake Paul was 191 pounds and Tyron Woodley was 189.
Right.
So that's light heavyweight, right?
Yeah, let's see light heavyweight champions. Oh my god, this fucking keyboard's a piece of shit. Oh, you fucking kidding me, man.
And he had a big old gash on his fucking head when he fucking at the end of the fight.
Yeah. Rankings. Let's see. Light heavyweight rankings in boxing. Okay, so WBO champion is Joe Smith Jr. He's definitely not beating him. The ring light heavyweight rank belts. Nobody has that belt, but that has Beterbiev, Bivol, Smith Jr., Alvarez. And then Brown and Maslov in it. I don't think he's beating anybody there. Callum Smith's also in that rank. Callum Smith is also light heavyweight now. And then Boutsy. Yeah, he's not beating anybody. Bodu Jack dropped out of it, but there's nobody. He's not beating anybody of those guys. No, there's nobody he beats in. There's nobody he beats in the top 10 of light heavyweight.
Right.
Yeah.
What if
it's actually a very
died?
stacked division, surprisingly enough.
Yeah. Talk about what is it called? Talk about being getting into it at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Or maybe the right time. I mean, who knows? I mean, like, well, we got like shit for old people, and now like, you know, their own division and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I saw a Are you tired of the debate about like whether this is good for boxing or not?
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of it. It's good for boxing. That's it.
I think so. I mean, like, the sanctity of boxing was. Remember when we were talking about it with Logan Paul and Logan Paul and who else was it? Logan Paul and we had this
KSI?
conversation before. Is it with KSI that we had the conversation with?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, and then
I forgot what it was.
Yeah, it was one of those earlier fights or whatever. So I'm gonna stop streaming this. So yeah, I think it's the tired thing. Like I don't know. People are still having the that talk, but I think it's like passe at this point. Because if anything, it's actually legitimate boxing, right? If the legitimate boxing promoters are bringing it up
Mm.
or like are promoting it, I don't know how much more legit you can get. If people are willing to buy it and watch it, I don't see why not.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of it. If they're willing to do it, then it's good. So we'll see what happens in the future. There's a lot of good boxing going on right now too. I don't think this really affects anything.
That's not gonna take away from the actual boxing events or like anything like that. I mean, it'd be funny if like Jake Paul like got good enough to get into like the actual rankings or something like that. But I mean, yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. But whatever.
Yeah. Well, they need a. I don't know. Boxing needs to embrace getting some celebrity stuff in their ranks, or at least try to boost up their at least gonna boost up their their pay per views and stuff like that. Because if they're not gonna have the best fight the best in boxing, then to have something to have people to freaking watch your crap. There's a reason nobody wants to watch your crap. Because nobody's good is fighting anybody good, and nobody wants to pay $70 to watch some dude drop. I mean, now it used to be like nobody wants to pay $70 to see somebody obviously win, but now nobody wants to pay $70 to watch your fucking some freaking protected pampered queers struggle against journeymen.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
true.
mean? The only good thing that came out of the last Tank Davis fight is hopefully Isaac Cruz is able to like get more fights and get better because he's only 23. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tank Davis struggled against him, so there you go.
Is Isaac Cruz your boy now? The
I hope he
little,
does good.
is the like weird the guy who kind of looks like what's it called? He kind of looks like from the Goonies, the monster. He looks a little
Yay!
bit.
No,
He kind of looks like that.
he's Chunk.
He's. I just what is it called? Yeah, this is what he looks like to me. I don't know. I can't help it. What did the what was the what were people saying on online about it? Was it all like the was everybody on the watch or something or
Um, saying about what?
about the Jake Paul fight? Because they, I mean, was there any like anything funny that came out of the fight that you saw online? Anything?
Mm, not really. Actually, not really. Surprisingly enough, you think that would be people would be more excited about it, but they don't. They're not really too excited about it.
I'm surprised that I'm surprised they said that there someone was alluding that there wasn't many people buying the pay-per-view.
Hmm.
Um Maybe because they just thought that Jake Paul was gonna it was going to be another Boar Fest, which it was. Um so maybe there wasn't too many people following this one. Um I mean, I didn't hear a lot of people talking about it. I mean, you and I were following it because we were following, Jake Paul's career, but um, not too many like actual like normal people. I think were doing it.
Hmm.
Were watching it or interested. I think people are probably going to be interested in Logan Paul versus Mike Tyson, but who knows if that's gonna pan out.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so. The only good thing that came out of Jake Paul fight was Tyrone Woodley's mama laughing at him.
oh yeah, what's that? He's like, I hate my son. Look at him, gay.
Yay.
Holy an asshole. Think she just like makes fun of him every time he loses.
Maybe.
Like they're at the family barbecue or whatever, and she's like yucking it up with all the uncles and all the cousins and stuff like that, and they're like just talking about him like on his face or whatever, and show him all the memes of people like. I mean, now they're probably gonna do that. Well, did you watch the Mohajjad or whatever cartoon of it? Uh, the 3D cartoon, the fight.
No, I haven't watched it. Was it
Um,
accurate?
it was
Muhad
pretty
Fajat or whatever does a good job. With that stuff. Because
it was pretty
not only is it really funny, his things are actually very accurate.
it was pretty accurate. I mean, it didn't. He didn't put in the part where Jake Paul got his like head sliced open by an elbow. I don't think. But he like put in all the hugging and stuff, and then like Jake Paul did like a Hadoken punch, which he sold like 3 times.
Hmm.
Um, and then he showed Masvidal and Nick Diaz like like getting scared and running away. Um, which actually did happen. Like Jake Paul was calling him out after the fight, saying like, "You guys left before I could say something on the post fight or whatever."
Hmm.
And now, oh my god, this was the most embarrassing part. Masvidal was all like, "Oh yeah, you can fight me in the cage or whatever. Like I don't fight like people for cheap or whatever. I fight the best and I fight them for money and you're neither and you have neither or whatever." And I
Okay.
was like, "Are you serious?" He did the thing that Usman did where he's all like, "Oh, I won't fight you boxing, but I'll fight you in MMA." And it's like, "Are you serious?"
Coward.
Yeah.
MMA what? So he can do a non takedown?
Yeah. I mean,
When the fuck did Nate Diaz ever do a takedown? And his jiu-jitsu sucks dick.
no, this was Masvidal that was saying this, which is even worse,
Oh,
I think.
Masvidal. When the fuck does Masvidal take anyone down? His jiu-jitsu sucks dick.
I'm just saying it's embarrassing. Like, oh my god, dude, you guys are like, you guys are trying to act tough or whatever, and you guys won't even like fight this dude in like like supposedly like a worse, like a more simpler sport than your sport.
Hmm.
It's sad, dude. Like these dudes that are like supposed to be super tough or whatever are just like doing all these like BS tactics against like against the YouTuber.
Hmm.
Um, so that I found that to be super embarrassing. Um, but yeah, it was the cartoon was fairly accurate to the whole thing. And then like Tyron Woodley joins the Ghost Club, which I predicted was gonna be like a mountain of people at this point.
Oh, he joined the
Everybody's doing.
MMA Ghost
Oh, that was
Club.
the thing. No, it was like there was one where it was boxing, so it had Deontay Wilder in it, and
Hmm.
then it was like made up of 3 people, and then the other one was the MMA one, was just like this giant mountain of people.
Hmm.
Um, although the boxing one had Deontay Wilder, Nate Robinson, and Tito Ortiz, which
Oh
I thought was
yeah,
confusing.
Tito Ortiz got knocked out by Anderson Silva. Remember?
Christian Silva, yeah.
Hmm.
Which is funny because I was like, wait, shouldn't he be on the MMA one too? But I guess he didn't get knocked out in MMA, did he? And
No,
Askren
he
was
did
on the
many a
MMA.
time. He got knocked out a lot in MMA.
Oh, oh yeah, by Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but Ben Askren was on the MMA one also. So
Yeah, he's a little. He needs to. Whenever he adds someone, he needs to add them to the one of the sport where they got knocked out.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I know. They have like double Askren or whatever the DLC like
Yeah. Well, did Askren ever get knocked out in MMA?
yeah, Masvidal, remember?
Oh yeah.
Flying knee.
Okay, well they need to have two. They need to have two Ben Askrens. One with him wearing his boxing trunks, and one with him wearing MMA trunks.
Yeah, exactly. You can play. You know what? That dude should make a video game. Don't steal our idea. I'm not gonna say this out loud.
God damn it.
But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I think I think Askren was the start of the Ghost Club. I think that was where that meme started. Um,
Oh yeah, well, he goes and he goes. "Brr."
he goes, "Durr," and then
Wait,
and then he says,
what does that noise come from? By the way.
I have no idea where that comes from. But it's like funny every time I hear it. I'm sure it's somebody said something weird in MMA. Um, uh,
I don't even know what
it
he's
might have,
saying. I thought he was saying him,
I don't know what the hell
but
it
that might
is.
just be like that might be like a really deep 4chan sports thing.
I didn't know where the fuck the McGregor like my foot was like a balloon thing came up until I like Um, saw him talking about his loss to Khabib. Like I didn't even know that came from like a Australian interview of him losing to Khabib, like making excuses and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and but yeah, so that was
Oh,
that
also,
was.
also, Ultra Titanium Shin Bone or whatever has run its course. No more of that.
Who said that? Was that also Conor McGregor?
Yeah, it's in every video that has Conor McGregor in it.
um, I don't get the blue lips thing. Where does the blue lips thing comes from? Because he's always wearing
Uh,
a t-shirt that says blue lips.
I think he said that about someone. I forgot who it was.
Okay, but yeah. So yeah, he joined the Ghost Club with Ben Askren, um, and and he was boom roasted. And, oh yeah, and then Tyron Woodley did the falling in and out of love and out of love with you at the end. So
Nice.
um, yeah, so yeah, the memes are gonna be pretty good. Um, oh, that was another thing I wanted to bring up. How do you think he does against Anderson Silva? Do you think he gets KO'd immediately?
Who? Jake
Jake
Paul?
Paul. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if he gets
I
KO'd
think
immediately. I think
I think
he
he
probably does.
I think so too. Well,
Yeah.
I think like in 4 rounds at this point in his is like Anderson Silva fucking embarrassed Chavez Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? Embarrassed that motherfucker. He beat the dude who's like supposed to be a world champion at some point.
Yeah, at one point in
So
time.
yeah, and then he like you saw what he did to like Tito Ortiz. What was it like 30 seconds into the first round, right?
Yeah.
Just like
And
he
Tito
just like
Ortiz is
does.
no slouch. He's old, but he's been staying in shape. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's been doing MMA fights.
Yeah.
But like I mean, he looked like crap when he was throwing those punches or whatever, but then like Jake Paul looked like shit too.
Yeah.
Then like Anderson Silva is like has like so much experience that he knows when to throw his shots and he's not going to you know, he's not going to like do the same dumb like mistakes that like Tyron Woodley would do.
Yeah.
Um yeah, Dana White was saying that Paul wouldn't fight Anderson Silva, which I think most boxers probably have trouble with Anderson Silva. Like actual, maybe not like all the champions now,
Mm-hmm.
but at least the people leading up to there. Um, like some of the high ranking boxers would probably have trouble with Anderson Silva. Um, so I mean, I'm still pulling for the Conor McGregor fight with Jake Paul, and I think that's where his boxing career is gonna end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with with getting like teamed by Connor.
By Gooby.
Yeah, with by Gooby. Whenever his fucking fight contract ends or whatever. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait to see. Jake Paul will lose eventually, and I feel like after the first loss, he'll move on to something else.
On to the next venture.
Yeah, maybe his boxing promotion gets big or something.
True. Yeah, you're right. He's
Because
already
he's obviously
positioning
good at
himself.
he's obviously good at promoting fights. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he's of a certain ilk. So doing proxy promoting and stuff like that, he'll be right up there with Bob Arum.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Can warm their hands together.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
can start a fire by
Yeah,
rubbing
rubbing
their
their
hands
hands
at the same
together.
time.
Yeah.
And also being delighted at the idea of the future promotions.
Yeah. I mean, say
Um,
what you will about Bob Arum, he's still putting on the best fights right now. Top Rank has like the best fighters, in my
right.
opinion. Yeah.
That's Tyson Fury and who else is on there?
Oh, is Tyson Fury on Top Rank? I thought he was on PBC.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I think so because I think he just said.
Yeah, the PBC
I think.
has fighters that are famous, but Top Rank has the better fighters. Here, let's look it up
Yeah.
right now since we're just like talking now.
Would you just Would you what was I gonna say? Do you think that he would fight Oscar De La Hoya?
Um,
Jake Paul. Someone was bringing up Oscar De La Hoya, and I was like, I don't know if he's like gonna be willing to do that.
what?
Jake Paul versus Oscar De La Hoya. Do you think that might happen? I don't. Although, like, let's say,
Who are the big promoter guys? Mayweather only has Tank Davis, so I'm not even gonna bother with Mayweather Promotions. But Top Rank, PBC, and
Eddie
Matchroom,
Hearn,
right? Yeah,
I think is
Matchroom is
match.
Eddie Herm. Yeah,
Okay.
Eddie, more like Eddie Worm.
Or like Eddie.
uh,
Hey, Eddie. Double D. Brave. Okay. Against De La Hoya, I think he'd probably do like.
okay, let's see.
Probably wouldn't. I don't think he'd. It'd probably be a good fight to watch.
Golden Boy doesn't have anybody good. Felix Alvarado, Joshua Franco. Let's see who their champions are. Oh, Jaime Munguia. Okay, never mind. I take it back.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Jaime Munguia, Raul Crurel, Rashidi Ellis, Oscar Colazo, Virgil Ortiz Jr. Oh shit, he does. They do have champions. Ronnie Rios. Okay. William Zepeda. Danielito Zerora. Okay, well, bunch of fuckers I'd never heard of. Yeah, no one. Who gives a shit? Wait, Virgil Ortiz and Jaime Munguia, pretty much. That's all they got.
Okay.
Okay, let's check out. Matchroom. Matchroom. I know they have Anthony Joshua. Okay, Matchroom. Oh shit. They got Canelo Alvarez.
Oh,
Matchroom
really?
has Canelo Alvarez, Katie Taylor, Damon Haney, Triple G, Julio Cesar Martinez, Jessica McCaskill. Um, that's kind of it for the big. Oh, they got Boo Boo. They got Demetrius
Boo Boo.
Andrade.
Get the Canelo fight done. Canelo needs to
I
stop
know
ducking.
Demetrius. I know. Fucking Boo Boo and fucking Canelo have the same fucking promoter. What the fuck?
Was it actually becoming? Are you actually? Are you serious about that or?
Yes, I'm getting mad. Dimitri
But he don't fight
Bivol.
nobody.
Yeah, so neither does fucking Canelo. He never fought anybody. He fought a fucking whatever. Fight somebody under 30 years old. All right, let's see.
It's his night.
Oh no. Let somebody fight somebody under 40 years old. How about that?
I know. Talk to you. Your name sound like poop or something.
Good.
Like that. I don't
Bernard
know.
Hopkins beat Marvin Hagler by KO. All right, let's see.
Robert Hagler?
Yeah. Dimitri Bivol, Juan Francisco Estrada. Goddamn, Alexander Usyk.
You? Where are you getting? Are you sure?
This is on their promotion. This is all their fighters that they promote.
Okay.
Yeah, goddamn. All right, Matchroom hitting it out of the park. I take it back. I mean, well, let's see who's in Top Rank because I might take it back because, yeah. Okay, PBC Fighters. Let's see. They got Carlos Almeides, Emmanuel Alim. Oh, this is in alphabetical. I don't like that. They got Chris Arreola. Then they got Chris Nips.
He's doing it. He's doing it for the country. If you don't like it, you can suck his fucking dick.
Oh yeah, he did say that. What did you say again?
Suck my motherfucking dick or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's
that
talking
shit was
about
fucking
Loki.
awesome. Dude's a hero. Julian Williams, Deontay Wilder, Kevin Watts, Gerald Washington. Who else? Bunch of Jesse Vargas. Oh, they got Spence Jr. They got Errol Spence.
Are you on the top rank one?
Yeah, I know PBC. This is PBC. Leo
Okay.
Santa Cruz, Frank Sanchez, um, Jason Rosario, Guillermo Rigondeaux. Oh my God. Sean Porter, Caleb Plant. They got Manny Pacquiao, Victor
Oh, okay.
Ortiz. Oh God, Victor Ortiz. Why?
That would explain why Spence fought Manny Pacquiao was going to.
Luis
So,
Ortiz, uh, Roman Martinez, uh, Adam
Roman lettuce.
Kowanecki. They got a good amount of fighters on the PBC. Um, and then the top ranked fighters: Joe Smith Jr., Tyson Fury, Michaela Mayer, Emmanuel Navarrete, Naoya Inoue.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Top rank.
Oscar Valdez 30-0. Arthur Beterbiev 16-0. Josh Taylor 18-0. Jamal Herring, Ryota Miruta. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was trying to look up top rank or whatever, and it was like, I was looking at this list, and I was like Muhammad Ali, Alexis Arguello, Oscar De La Hoya, Roberto Duran, Joe Frazier, and I was like, they have them for life, or like even after death. And no, these are it's just like a history of like, I was looking at the history part of top rank. Oh, I was like, oh god, they have Muhammad Ali. Um, got the whole esports boxing roster on here. So yeah.
God
I think
damn it.
Andy Ruiz Jr. is part of Top Rank as well, I believe.
Who?
No, the fat guy. Andy Ruiz Jr.
Oh
Am I
yeah,
coming in
yeah.
clear? Am I coming in clear?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yay. Um, and nothing really else going on in the boxing world. Um, boxing is fake and gay.